Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Muse Jester. My name is Junior, and this is a continuation of the video about collecting. So, in the last video, we discussed how me, as a 30-year collector, was proceeding into getting into a new line of collection, the 3.75 Star Wars line, that has an over almost 50 years worth of merchandise, action figures, and vehicles that you can go over and possibly purchase. It's very, very overwhelming, and the money and cost will be such an astronomical standpoint that you might think, I don't want to get into that. Well, so last video we talked about, if you decide to do it, you need to know what you want and you need to do your research, right? And we stopped the video at the point where I had made a list and I had concentrated my collections for the vehicles beginning in the year 2010, the Legacy Collection, which had the latest updates in the vehicles. I also discussed how supposedly these new releases from 2024 were actually from using the same molds as they did in 2010. That's why the 2010 is important. And I also discussed about the collection list that I found from rebelscum.com and boxbounty.com that allowed me to create a baseline of prices that I feel comfortable with. Okay. Now, as you're researching this and you're opening up, as you're getting ready to start making purchases, you kind of want to hold off, because now you're looking at the stores or locations where you can buy this from. eBay is my main goal. Facebook is something I learned. Facebook Marketplace, something I learned recently. OfferUp, swap meets, Craigslist if you have that in your area, and all that stuff, right? So the good thing about eBay, as I was going through, as I was slowly dipping my fingers in there, was there's so many people putting up items, similar items, and there's a wide range of prices. So the base price for these ATS, we'll take the ATST. The base price for the ATST, when it was released in 2012, was $35. This is from rebelscum.com. $35, right? So now I started looking at ATSTs on eBay because I wanted to see how much of a price difference there is, right? And, you know, mint in box, complete, those are two things you're looking for. I am not a mint in box. I'm not going to look for a mint in box. I'm sorry. I'm not going to pay premium pricing just because it's perfect boxes or it's in box and all that stuff. I am a collector that opens things up. So that's out of the question for me. But it gave me the top of the line, the top of the pricing ceiling. If I knew it was $35 then, what is the pricing limit for the ATST as a mint in box condition, right? I can't remember what it is now. Let's put it like maybe 100 or so. So I'm not going to pay $100 for that. I'm going to pay for a loose collection. Okay. And I looked for it. But then I started seeing, well, this is near complete. And you can look at the pictures and everything, but it's missing, I believe, the missiles. I think this has missiles. I can't remember. But then you look at this guy, he's almost complete, but he's missing the eyelids. And some listings, you'll see them as almost complete because it doesn't have the hatch. This thing also has the hatch that opens up. And also this one. The inside is perfectly the same as this guy. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. So now I have to decide, do I want a complete or am I okay with some missing parts? This is not going to be for everybody. This is just for me because I am a customizer as well. I can paint things up. This is the reason why I wanted to look at the older ones, because I can paint it up myself, and I can assure myself that I will do a much better job than this guy or this guy. I'm seriously considering repainting this. Um, so how much of a damaged product was I willing to get depending on the price, right? Well, I got one of these guys for 30 bucks and I got one of them for 26 bucks. So we're talking about an $80 figure to a $26 figure. That's a no-brainer for me. That's why I got two. This is less than $56, even less than what I paid for this one, and I still got two. Okay. And I was on Amazon. One of the things that I bought during their sale was a speeder bike from the Mandalorian show with Baby Grogu. The original price, I believe, was around $49, and they had it on sale for like $25. So I bought two of them. Well, guess what? As I was going through eBay, there was a listing that had one, two, and there's a third one in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Three. One person listing all three for $50. So, of course, what am I going to do? Well, I returned the one from Amazon, which cost me 50 bucks, and got the three from the OTC original trilogy anyway, for the same price, 50 bucks. Booyah, savings right there. Okay? And that's not even putting into frame the knowledge that I knew the base retail price for this one was $35. Okay? So that means I actually underpaid when this was on retail. I believe this is probably like 2009, not 2012, because it incrementally increases prices, obviously, over the years. But still, to get one for 30 and 26, when the retail price, last retail price for this was 35, and this is 80, that's like a brain, like, that's cool. That's really, really good, right? So one of the things I've noticed as I've gone through this roller coaster of a ride. I'm shooting this currently on the 23rd of October. So I've only been actively pursuing this line for 13 days. 13 days, guys, on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, offer up. And you might say, you're crazy, dude. You're not qualified to tell us how to proceed into going into a new collection. Probably so. But I'm only making this video in consideration for you guys to think, did I do a good job or not? Right? So I got the two ATSTs over there for 25, 26, and 30 below the original retail price of what they went for, even though it's missing a few parts. I got these speeder bikes, 3 of them, for $15 each with a figure. Right? How much is a figure now? $15, and I got a speeder bike for it. That's no brainer, right? But I'm finding that not only am I getting a rush from finding the vehicles that I wanted for the original that I wanted, but also I was getting a rush for the fact that I was beating the retail prices of what they were originally, and that's where the master list comes from. Okay, so I was thinking, okay, if an item was originally selling for $20, it's reasonable for me to say, okay, I'm probably going to spend $30 to $40 on that item, because come on, 2010, that's been 15 years ago. There's got to have some sort of value, right? And there is, if it was mint in box, if it was complete. But since my category, because I'm a customizer, now diminishes the quality of the product. For example, the Imperial Shuttle. Look, it's missing the canopy. It's missing 2 missiles. It's missing the canopy over there. Would you buy that as a collector? Well, you know, that's going to have to be on your decision. My decision was I went ahead and bought it. Why? Why did I buy an Imperial Shuttle that first got released in 1984 for a retail price of $35? Can you believe that? $35. Which recently got re-released, I believe, in 2009 again. Same exact mold as I've discussed before. Updated paint apps, kind of like what that one does. And I can't remember how much it was. I didn't put it on my list. right? But now that I'm going through eBay, I'm seeing the Imperial Shuttle around 400, the 2009 version, 400, 500, 600. And then I'm seeing on eBay prices of this as broken, as bad as this, for $300, $250. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay $250 for an Imperial Shuttle when it's in this condition, honestly. But this is one of the main vehicles that I wanted, honestly. Not just the Millennium Falcon, not as iconic a Millennium Falcon, not same as the Slave One, but the Imperial Shuttle is just so iconic. When the Emperor steps down to the Death Star, and he was surrounded by all those stormtroopers. Yeah, I wanted this, but like 300 for a broken one, 500 for one piece. And it's not even an updated cockpit, nothing. It's the same exact mold, 1984, with a few paint application. I'm not gonna do that. Come on. Not gonna do that. Guess how much I paid for this. I saw this on Facebook. And it was from a guy that was, I think he's like 20 miles away from me. And he had a bunch of listing with this one, the Snow Speeder, the Hoth scenery, and the Land Speeder, and he was open for deals. And I asked him, how much were you willing for that? He said $100. I said, wow, $100. It's really... I went ahead and researched, because I'm a customizer and because I don't really care if it's original or not. There are 3D printed options out there, guys. If you just want a representation of the Imperial Shuttle in your collection, you can buy a 3D printed canopy, the weapons over here, and that side over there, right? And I was calculating it, and it ended up being like maybe $55, $60 if I was going to order it. So I asked him how much he was willing to go for it. And he says, well, it's going to be $100. $100 for a broken down Imperial Shuttle. Am I willing to mess around with that? It's $100, but still it's an Imperial Shuttle. So I asked him, you're kind of far. It's got a lot of stuff in it. I don't even know if the mechanics inside are working. And I said, can you do 75? Well, I guess he can, because I have it in my table. $75 for an Imperial Shuttle. With a $55 parts, that's going to be around $125 to complete it. And of course, I'm going to paint it up anyway. I'm going to go and open it up. There is a video by Toy Polloy where he fixed all this up inside. Thankfully, when I got there, the ratchets are still pretty good. The spring gun that allows you to lower the wings are loose, so I have to open it up and see what's going on and just update and paint it. But because I'm a customizer and because I don't like this cockpit, I went ahead and bought. It just so happens that I found on eBay someone was selling just this part of the ship for 20 bucks, yellowed, dirty, and everything. So I went ahead and bought that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut up the seats. I'm gonna see, this is how the figure is supposed to lie down. So ugly. And when I got this shuttle, I realized I can push forward the pilot, and you have all this space, and he looks much better that way. So I'm gonna cut up the seats, and I'm gonna make a console, update the console and everything. On that old one, the $20 one, if it's successful, if I like the look, I'll insert it in this one, clean it up, and then proceed to fix this whole thing up for $125. Very much worth the price to customize it and bring it up to my speed. That's how I'm thinking as a collector. That's how I'm thinking as a customizer. That's how I'm thinking of how I can get things that are completely out of my range and fix it up to the point that works for my collection. Does this help you guys? Maybe not. But it does fall under my category of, if you know what you want and you know the prices that you're willing to pay, can you lower the cost of what it's going to cost you by doing fixes on the items yourself? And for me, the answer is yes. Only because I'm very, very confident of what I can do and what I can make Just an example, in case you haven't seen any of my older videos, and you don't know what I'm talking about as a customizer, you see that his tank over there by HasLab? You see another his tank over there? That's the one I made. It's kind of hard to see because it's like right up there, but that's a remote control his tank. It's not completely done yet because I've kind of lost interest in it because it looks good already as it is. So I'm very confident in my ability to fix this up and customize it as long as it holds my interest. I can paint it up. It's really not a problem painting these things up. I can match the paint work that they did in the Razor Crest. I'm confident in my ability in that way. So I'm sorry, I had to put this in my category because it really, really decreases the cost for what I have to pay to add this stuff in my collection. $75, $125, compared to something that's as badly as this for $300, $400. It's ridiculous, right? Now, it just so happens that I know, as I was looking to Facebook, that the updated version, the cheapest one I was able to find, complete as is, and I saw from the guy's listing, he's like immaculate, he's perfect, but he lives in Arizona, I'm in California. He was listing it for $300. That's the cheapest I was able to see, and he was the cheapest. And I almost made an offer on him, but he was asking for shipping, and I wasn't sure how much the shipping on this will be. More than likely around $50, based on how much the shipping costs on some of these guys, right? So that would have been an added $350, $370 plus tax because I'm going through Facebook. It would have ended at $400, and I couldn't swing it. So I went ahead. I was more than happy to pay this one, and it just so happens after I bought this, there was another listing in Hollywood, West Covina, for $160. $160. This version, and it was almost complete. It had the cockpit, it had the guns, it had the front side and everything. But I already had this one, and I already had ordered the replacement parts. So I was tempted to get the second one, but I had a lot more stuff to buy. So now my categories have somewhat shifted. I knew what I wanted. I knew 2010 was the key year. I knew the base price of each item that I'm interested in when they released on retail. I knew the average pricing that was occurring on eBay of loose stuff with somewhat incomplete. Because that's my other category, because I can fix it up. And from there, I was able to make a much better decision than most guys ever will. For an example, the AT-AT Legacy version 2010, first released for the retail price of $150. I don't remember how much it was mint in box because I don't really care. But the lowest price I could find on eBay with missing parts, like missing the side cannons, missing the lower jaw cannons, the translucent one, missing panels, depending on the state that you ever see, $150, $200. And this is with lights and sound and everything. And so that was my base price on eBay, with the thought of like, okay, how much is it going to cost me to fix it up and everything? How complete can it get? I wanted at least the exterior to be complete. Not necessarily concerned about this or the missiles, because the missiles I can get repros from 3D prints, maybe on the inside as well. Inside of this, there's like two monitoring systems. In some of the listings I've seen, it has one of them. So one of my thoughts was, if I get that version, I'll go ahead and mold and cast that small piece, and I'll have two. Yes, as a customizer, I also know how to make molding and casting. I don't know how to do 3D prints. I don't have the equipment nor the knowledge to do that, but I do know how to mold and cast as an option for me. So that also added to expanded my options of what I'm willing to purchase, because if I purchase an item, let's say it has two wings of this one and it only has one, I can technically make a mold of this wing and flip it to the other one. It doesn't apply to the space shuttle, but in some of them, like this one, technically, if I was considering a model from the ATT A8 AT-AT and only had one of these side cannons, I can still buy it, because I can just make a mold of this and cast it and then just punch the hole, and it looks almost like the same thing. That's one of the things I was considering. So, but the more important aspect is that from eBay, I was able to determine that the lowest price of a semi-complete exterior wise of an AT-AT was around $200, $250, shipping plus tax and all that stuff, right? And I went on Facebook and OfferUp, and I saw this. This is a near complete AT-AT. It does have the missiles and the thing. I just have it inside. Actually, I think that's pretty complete. I can't remember. Guess how much he was selling it for? Guess, guys. $90. I'm going to categorize it as complete and working because I haven't really looked at it. I believe it is. $90 with, I believe, $17 shipping. Now, here's the catch on OfferUp. And he lives in Oregon. When you're buying something off of eBay, you're protected by PayPal. With OfferUp, there isn't really much of a protection. You have to put in your credit cards, and so you need to make sure it has a lot, that the seller has a lot of history, a lot of sales and everything. $100. I looked at his history. Guess what I saw? 0 sales, 0 buys, 0 history. New profile, April 2024. And I know you're probably shaking your head. Don't do it. Don't do it. So I went and studied OfferUp, because this is the first listing I saw on OfferUp. And I studied their returns, and I was really, really scared. Technically, if they don't ship it within 5 days, they'll refund you the money. Once you receive it, you have 2 days to inspect the item and possibly get a refund. Those are the only things that will protect you in OfferUp. And during the course, I learned that OfferUp customer service is very, very slow and not very, very helpful. Thankfully, here it is, my friends. A $107 worth of AT-AT Legacy. This is the big version, complete. That if you were to look on eBay right now, would cost you around $300 to $400. I kid you not. I kid you not. Right? Even less than what it went on retail for in 2010, because retail it was $150. So I bought it, dreading the fact that it was probably a scam and everything. So I kept on looking. I was still looking, and I saw on Facebook this guy for $150. Now this guy is missing parts. It's missing the missiles. It's missing the chin. It's missing the 2 front consoles. The hatch on the bottom where Luke Skywalker comes in. Yeah. But the lights and sounds and working, everything's working. And maybe this will come. And if it does, I'll mold and cast the parts that I need and put it in this one. But just in case this is a cam, $150 is still a pretty damn good price for this. So I asked him, what were you willing to go for? He says, because it's missing parts. And he doesn't know what he's missing. So I said, and he said he's willing to go to $140. But with shipping on this one was around $30 plus tax. It ended up in like $176. Still, $176 at a 90% complete AT-AT Walker is still way, way, way below what I found on eBay as a 70% complete at $200. Okay, so this is still a good price. This is even a greater price. So technically, I got an at two of them for $275. Wah, wah, wah. This is where your research comes in. This is where knowledge comes in to help you a lot in your collection. It gives you information of what you want, what you can get, and all that stuff. That's why you need to do your research. That's why you need to know what you want. That's why you need to know what you can do, what options there are available. OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, 3D prints to cut down your costs, and all that stuff. One other purchase I can possibly relate to the at was the Millennium Falcon. Now this is the legacy version that came in 2010. It was released again in 2020 when they opened Galaxy's Edge with newer paint apps, newer sound chips, but technically it's exactly the same mold as the 2010 legacy, this guy. Now again, I've done my research on this guy, and again, I've seen bits and pieces missing and all that stuff, and the base price seemed to be floating around $250 to $300 for loose and incomplete. For a complete set, it's gonna be around $5, maybe $550, and for a mint in box, I believe it's $600. Don't even talk about the Galaxy's Edge version, because that's going up to $800, $900 mint in box, and I don't care about that mint in box. Like I said, I don't care about getting the Galaxy's Edge version, as I said, as loose at $700. That's way too high for me, right? So I found this listing with near complete, everything working. The only thing missing is the training ball that Luke Skywalker plays with, and the handle that holds it up. That's the only thing. $10 3D reprint. So I asked him how much his price was, and I believe this one I've got it for $350. This is a very, very important item that I wanted to get, and it's very, very expensive. But before we go into this and why I became comfortable with $350, let's go into the Razor Crest. The Razor Crest, did I not say I'm only interested in the trilogy collection, the original trilogy? Why do I have the Razor Crest? Well, like I said, I was really, really taken by the Mandalorian series. I believe it's a good story. I've enjoyed it. And the Razor Crest, I did not back when it first came out. I thought it was ridiculous to pay the price of $350 for an item like this, especially since I'm not into 3.75 collection. Why do I care, right? So it got released, $350 plus tax, probably around $380, $390, shipping free. And there's no way I would even consider getting this right now, because after market prices, I would imagine it to be around $700, $800 mint in box, loose maybe around $600 or so. And it just so happens, as I was looking for the at over there, this came across, because my search was Star Wars vehicles 40 miles. This came up, and apparently a lot of people were selling it around my area. It was $700, $600 mint in box and all that stuff. And on eBay, I saw this as a starting bid of $300. Nobody was bidding on it, with, I believe, shipping of $30. And I saw it was climbing, and I realized with $30 shipping plus tax, there's no way this was gonna be $350. So I was assuming, I was calculating that with my cost. So again, we go back to Facebook and the listings over there. So I was seeing $600, $550, and then lo and behold, I saw one for $450, about 15 miles away from me. So I contacted the seller. I said, would you be willing to go to $400? Remember, he went to $450, and I wanted to go to $400. And the thing is, I would love to have gone 400, but I would pay 425 if he met me closer. Right? Mint in box, everything's complete and everything. I left him a message like maybe 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. No answers. And I'm looking at the eBay bids because that was ending at the same day at 3 o'clock. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll put in my bid on eBay around 2:30. Watch the prices and everything, and see what happens. Well, then within my area, less than 2 miles away, another offering came up, $500, and like, bing. Well, there's 450 over there, 20 miles away. Maybe I can get this guy for 425, because I can tell the guy, well, there's another one over there for 450. I'm pretty sure I can bring it down to 425. What do you think? It never even got to that, because then the guy comes to me and says, if you're willing to not take the 2 carded figures, which is Grogu and a Jawa, which I don't care about because I'm not a reseller. I don't care about carded figures. I'm just going to open those suckers up. And I already have a Grogu. And the Jawa, how much is the Jawa? $10 if I was to buy it loose? He said if I was willing to give him the 2 carded figures, he would bring down to 425. Do you guys know what my answer is? A very, very fast yes. Okay? So we met, 425. He opened the box right in front of me, completely sealed, 2 carded boxes, 2 carded toy figures, and I came home with a raise request for $425. $425 with the original being around $380. The guy, or I basically overpaid $45 just to get a raise request. I don't care about the figures. $45, which I never considered. I'm more than happy for that. Okay, because this was what, 2 years ago on a HasLab that's never ever going to be produced ever again. Okay, and just so happens I went back to the eBay listing, and whoever bid that got a really, really good deal, because he ended up closing at $326 plus shipping, $30. So it's $356 plus tax. He ended up paying exactly as you would have paid on retail. But that was loose, that was out of the box, been displayed, and it was missing one thermal detonator. A small thermal detonator, accordingly to the seller. So I'm like, that's okay, because I didn't really care about the figures. I got my raise request for the price, very comfortable. So I'm gonna stop the video from here. I've talked about knowing what you want, research, to kind of shrink down what's your idea of what you wanted, what you're willing to do to get the lowest price. If you want to do custom, if you want to do 3D prints, if you want to mold and cast and everything, you want to customize it, because I was going to customize these anyway. I was going to repaint them anyway. So the market value, if I was to resell it, would have been low. This is just my collection. I don't resell my stuff. I don't. So that gave me with a lot of buying power and a lot of choices, and that allowed me to make good purchases, right? Oh, I forgot. The Millennium Falcon, right? $350. One other resource that I just so happen to remember is Goodwill, a donation center area that helps out disabled people. So I was just, I've known it before. Let me just go check Star Wars vehicles. Lo and behold, I saw a picture of the Millennium Falcon, Power of the Force listing, and yet the pictures clearly depicted the Legacy, because there are several distinguishing marks on the Legacy that you can see. On the Legacy, you'll have the 3 buttons control here. The cockpit is different from the Power of the Force 2009. The interior is different. The landing gear is different, and all that stuff. So I knew that they had mislisted it. Instead of being the Legacy, and they mislisted it as the Power of the Force. 2009, the earlier model, and they listed it. Are you ready? $100. Yeah, I went ahead and bought it. Now with shipping and taxes, it went up to $158, and I already had this one. Why would I need to get another Millennium Falcon? Well, it's because it's $100, guys. I had to get it. So now I have two Millennium Falcons for the price of $400, complete. Oh, actually, no, that one wasn't complete. It's missing a few parts that I'm gonna mold and cast from this guy, and I'll give it to them. Anyway, I'm gonna start the video right there. We'll talk about some more of the deals and exactly how I ended up with this collection, and you decide if I made the right choices, if I had the good deals, and that'll be the end of the video, guys. That might take longer because I think I'm gonna wait for a few more items to come in, just to showcase exactly how deep I went into the collection. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video, which is probably going to be a review. So the third part of this video will be much later on. Goodbye.